Hi, my name is Jamie Statz-Paynter, and I'm here to show you how to make this card. It's another fun fold card that I'm going to make today, and it is using our Friendly Hello stamp set from the Sale-a-Bration album, as well as some of the paper from it. So what you have here for my fun fold is it flips up like this, and then like that to be able to look at this. So how we're going to do it to start, and I'm going to put the card right there so that you can see it, is first we're going to start out with a 8.5 by 5.5 sheet of paper, and we're going to score it down this line down 4 1/4. What you want to do is when you're scoring it, the side that has the lump or the hill is the side you're going to put towards the outside of the paper when you are doing it, because that way the paper is already loosened in that way, and it'll keep it strong by doing it that way. The next thing that we are going to do, and I've cut some of this stuff ahead of time so that we can have it, is we're going to cut a piece of cardstock, and we're going to start with the very inside of the cardstock here, or the very inside of the card, or outside, I should say, not inside. And this one is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. So as you can see here, I've got my layering that I always keep by my side. Everything goes down by 1/4 inch. I don't like using an 1/8 inch because it's not very forgiving if you're not really straight when you are cutting your paper, where this one is. So we're going to go down from this outer edge, which is now 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and to look like that. So before I glue anything together, I always make sure that I have my edges the way I want it. And so I'm going to start by taking my Tombow monofilament glue, and I always like using my glue because I've done cards forever, and I used to send things all the way across overseas to the military, and no matter what the weather, Afghanistan or whatever that we were sending cards to, it lasted. It never came apart, whether it was heat or cold, for wherever we're doing. As well as you can see how I accidentally just pushed this over a little because I didn't like my edges. Glue is forgiving that way, where when you use adhesive rollers, once it's stuck, if you try to peel it off, you're going to rip your paper. And I'm not always, I don't know about you, but I'm not as accurate as I would always like to be. Okay, the next piece we're going to do is I've already stamped using my Friendly Hello stamp set. I've stamped the bird and the flowers and my sentiment on here. So that's going to go on the inside, about like that. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I took this sheet of paper here, and what I did, you can see the measurements from here. It is 5 1/2 inches by 3 1/4. And what I did is I scored it right at the 5-inch line. So again, this is the lumpy side. So I'm going to fold it over there. And what I always do is I fold using my bone folder so it stays firm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. You don't need a lot. And we'll fix that later. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it this way so that it flips up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my card over, because when I put it down, I want to be able to see exactly where the middle is. And in addition to that, I want to have my edge be up on top just a little bit, so that there is a little bit of extra room, maybe 1/8 of an inch there from where it was folded to the bottom of the paper. And that way, when you come back this way and you fold it over, it's nice and crisp and clean. Now if it looks like mine, that I didn't do it as right as I wanted, I'm going to go back here and fold it down again that way. But now that I've got my glue there, I'm going to come and I'm not going to glue this next part down yet, because I always like to color first and then glue, because if you make a mistake on this side, you can always go back to the other side, but you can't change that once it is already glued down. So as you see here, I'm going to put this aside, you will see that I've got my bird and my flowers, and what I'm going to start with is I'm going to be using a whole bunch of Stampin' Blends here. So the first one I'm going to use is my Stampin' Blend, which is my my light Mossy Meadow. And I'm just going to go in here and highlight the light spots of the leaves just to give it a little more dimension and not just look so black. For my flowers, I'm going to take my dark Petal Pink, and you can see on one side it says the name, and on the other side it tells you whether it's a pointy or the not pointy end. So I'm going to take the pointy end. I always use the pointing end when I'm doing my dark ones because I want to make like lines like this to kind of show it. I'm going to do a little bit darker in there. And now I'm going to take my light Petal Pink again, and this one I'm going to use the bigger end, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend it. So I'm taking from the dark part and moving out to the outer area. Now the only thing you have to watch when you're using the dark one, and this one I'm coloring the whole flower in versus you see here, I just wanted a little bit of the light edges of it. So this one I'm just doing a little bit different so you can see what it is, to see which way that you like it best. Problem with the pointed end like this is it's not as precise when you are getting the outside edges, so you have to be careful so you don't accidentally, and I think that's, we're going to color that anyway, to make sure you don't go outside of the lines. The next part I'm going to do, and let me reach up here because I didn't grab one, I'm going to grab my brown, and I'm going to grab just a soft suede, and I'm going to make that. And actually, whoa, that was too big an end. You can see what that happens. Soft suede to go for where my leaves are. I think I used crumb cake the last time. And then the next thing, you're not going to see all of the part that I did here. I'm a mistake, but what I am going to do is take my eraser, which is the color lifter, and I'm going to go like this for a little bit, just to lighten up the brown there because the branch did not go all the way down there. Now I'm going to let it dry for a little bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit different. I like the yellow bird, but I want to try something different. So now I'm going to just take this and take some of my dark smoky slate. And again, I always highlight where the dark pieces are and leave the rest by itself. And I'm going to use just this brush for here, a smaller one. And I'm going to make the top half of my bird this gray color. You can see I'm trying to blend that in, and you can see this end is probably wearing out a little bit. So I'm going to have to use the bigger one. It looks darker when you're first doing it, but you will see that it will lighten up unless I grab the wrong one, which I didn't. This is the light color. However, the more you go over it, the darker it will get. So the goal is just to go through just enough. And then I'm going to use my yellow down here. And I'm going to just put dark lines there. And this is my Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to use my light color down here to make the bird look like that. So you can make all sorts of different looking birds when you're doing it. Okay, so now I'll keep letting that middle part dry, but you can see also once you start coloring, if you stamped it wrong, you can go over on this side, but if you didn't stamp it, once you color it, you can't use the other side because even though Stampin' Up! Has very thick paper, when you go through with the blends, you are going over and over, and I'm just cleaning what we call a booger off the glue. Once you start using the colors and blending, it tends to make it darker on the one side. So now you're going to see evenly on that side. And again, we'll come back and look at this in a bit. So now I'm going to flip this over, and you can see on my card, the paper I used looks just like this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my floral piece and my piece with the leaves, and I'm going to put them on two separate little places here. We'll just use There's this guy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp off the paper, and I'm going to stamp it on this just so I don't ruin the paper below here. But I'm going to stamp it in a few different places just to give it a little darker image. And maybe one more there. Oh, Jamie didn't go straight. Well, we're going to put the paper over that because I didn't like the way that one looked. The next thing I'm going to do is take this stamp and make the leaves come out. And we're going to go this way. And we're going to cover that so you're not going to see it. And maybe I'll put one more leaf here, so it looks like it's coming out there. And then I'm going to take this, whoops, my Hello Friend. Oops, Hello Friend. And I'm going to try, you see how I put it over like this? Now, I should probably move the Hello Friend over a little bit more, because when you flip the card, you can see a little bit of white there. So I need to move this over more so I can put my flowers in a little bit more so they don't go over the card. That's the benefit of making a card once and then you make it the second time. Hopefully you're going to make it a little bit better. Okay, so there's my Hello Friend. And now I'm going to put my glue. Oops, look what I just did. So we're not going to use this one. We're going to grab another Hello Friend. Let's see here. There we go. Let's try it again. Maybe we'll glue the orange part on there first. Hello Friend. Nope, don't like that one. Not dark enough. This is also the advantage of when you use the Stamparatus, because it's going to allow you to go over it twice. And you don't have to worry about it coming out. So I'm going to hold off on attaching that just so that I don't make the same mistake and smear it. So I'm going to attach this. When I am gluing, the other thing is I always glue about 1/4 of an inch through. I just go once around. You don't see me going through the middle because that's just wasting glue that you don't have to waste. And then I'm going to put it evenly here. Okay, now I'm going to try my Hello Friend. And you see it went all the way over to the black line here. And so I'm going to cover up my oops there. So now you can see how I made a mistake, but you really can't see it. Okay, and then now I've got my Hello Friend here. So you see on this one, I colored the whole flower, whereas the other one I did a little bit lighter. So this one, I am actually thinking that I'm still going to do it light because I like just the difference between there. Again, I could color it dark and try that out if you like the darker one. So what I'm going to do is just put a little dark here, a little dark there. But then what I'm going to do is just kind of go around with my light one like this, just where the lines are. And you see what, this is where the big stuff is meant for not getting really around the edges. And you'll see that when I'm done with this, it's going to be a lot lighter. But, however, now what I have to do is cut around the edges. This is the part I think that most people hate when you are fussy cutting. I don't mind fussy cutting. It's kind of like I'm a sewer also, and for me it's kind of therapeutic when I rip when I sew. I don't know why, but I just feel better. Usually I try to do all my fussy cutting if I'm going to do a group of cards or something. I save stuff and I do fussy cutting while I am watching TV, because then I don't feel like if I want to waste time and I want to spend more time doing cards, I'm not feeling guilty that I'm not spending the time doing what I could be doing. So that's basically how I do it, but you can do it wherever you want. I'm showing you that it doesn't take long to do this. And with this color, you don't have to worry about anything smearing because the Stampin' Blends do dry very quickly. Usually so do the Memento ink black pad that I used, but because I was stamping something and it was super, super dark, that's the reason why you saw that it wasn't as clean and crisp. So now I'm going to put it like this, and you can see now it's not going to go over, or I can try and put the bigger ones down here. So it depends on whichever one you like. I guess I like the bigger ones on top. And I'm only going to glue this half because some of it is going to stick out over there. And I want to make sure that I can see my hello through there, the word hello. And so I'm gluing it this way to make sure. So that is your finished card. Oops. And now I'm going to go back here and do the pointy end. And I'm going to do a little bit more of this, and I'll just keep doing this until it turns see-through and you won't even tell it's there. And then what I will also do at that same time is I'm going to just put a little fill in there so it's done. So that is my Hello Friend card from Sale-a-Brations. You can get this stamp set and all the paper that comes with it, other than this Petal Peach, but the Designer Series paper is on special. If you order $100 from me, you will get you can order this as your Sale-a-Bration item for a 12-pack of paper, as well as the Stampin' Up stamps that you get from this. And I will be making another card next week using the same paper. So again, hopefully you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. Bye now.